Hi, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another video. This is a paid request for Oliver. Thank you so much for that. For those interested, requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. For those who sent them, thank you. I really do appreciate it. And this is for Manjummel Boys. I'm going to butcher a lot of this stuff, so I apologize. It's an Indian film in the Malayalam language. Came out 2024. It's based on a true story. It's again a film, India film, where, long story short, this group of people, where there's 10 of them, they decide to go on vacation. They go on a trip. They're hanging out, take a picture in a tree, go on boats, etc. And then they get the idea to look at these caves called the Guna Caves. Now, it's a restricted spot. There's even a fence, but they decide to sneak across it. They get up close with the caves. Hey, let's write our names on the stone, the Manjummel Boys. But as one of them is walking, they fall through the floor into this pit. And they try to call down, but they don't hear anything. Some stay there. They try to see if the guy will respond. Other people try to get the cops. The cops at first beat the hell out of them. And what the hell were you doing in restricted space? And we've had many people fall there throughout the years. That's why it's restricted. So more than likely your buddy's dead, because everyone else who's fallen in, they're dead. They even accuse him of murder, which maybe that's how the cops are over there. To me, it just seemed out of the blue that they would be accused of murder. But yeah, maybe that's just how it is over there. So I have to go on that assumption. Until ultimately they get a cop to come with them, while the people who are still there, they're trying to stop. Rain is falling and the water's falling, so they're trying to stop the water from falling to the hole. The cop gets there, and ultimately it's kind of, you guys got to get out of here. The guy's dead. There's no hope. Until at that time, the guy down the pit wakes up and he starts screaming and yelling, and now we got evidence that the person is there. So you have people there, other cops and other workers there, see what they could do to save the guy. And they're all scared to go down the hole, which is a very thin hole. Don't know how deep it is. It's one of those things where, like, when the body fell, it kind of hit all these jagged sided edges. It was like a full on down, because if it did, the guy would have been dead. It kind of goes, kind of like a pachinko, like Price is Right. Now, granted, it looks bad because it's all done in CGI, that scene. That's really the only CGI I noticed, though. But it did look pretty wonky. But the rest of it is, all practical. And it's, nobody, everybody's scared except one of the guy's buddies, one of the 10, well, 9 now. He decides, I'm going to go down there. Hey, you know what risk you're taking? Well, we're boys, we're going to go down there. So he goes down there. And he's slowly lowered down, going through, until he finally gets the guy. They warn him, hey, if you go down further, we don't have enough rope. Well, we could get more rope, but there's lack of oxygen. If we take it lower, no, keep me lower. Gets the guy, goes back up. It gets hitched, caught. So this move that they did earlier, where they had this tug-of-war game, and they did this thing to kind of loosen up and help with stuff, that's brought back to this, where they loosen it so the rope gets loose and get out of where it's snagged. Then they're able to pull the two up. The cops pretty much go, get the fuck out of here. If I ever see you again, I'll take care of you. Because we don't want the hassle, we don't want the trouble. So the guys don't keep it to themselves. But there was a guy there taking pictures. He knows the whole story. The story gets out. So the mom of the guy who was rescued, first she's pissed at this guy who rescued him, not knowing the details, saying, well, what did you do? How come you didn't help my boy? But then she finds the truth, goes up to him, and is very emotional, sorrowful, and thanking the guy for saving my son. The guy was down there, he's going through a little bit of PTSD, but he's trying to overcome it. And then the movie's over. The movie's over. And that's pretty much the movie. The movie is highly praised. Has like an 8.2 on IMDb. I know Oliver, he really likes the film. He said it was better than Daylight with Sylvester Stallone. I disagree, man. I did not think this was a bad film. I did not hate the film. But it's kind of one of those where I respect what it did. I think the actors do their jobs fine. If you're fine reading subtitles, but I don't think the actors did a bad job. I think when the guy's being lowered down, there's some decent bits of tension because just how narrow these things are and how the guy's kind of sliding through them. But even then, I think that could have been ratcheted up even more with intensity to really show if they're... But see, they can't be too narrow because the body had to have been falling through, bumping around. If it was too narrow, then he'd be caught somewhere. So it didn't feel as claustrophobic as I've seen in other films, like The Descent or even 127 Hours among other movies. The characters, I mean, I much prefer, for Oliver, I much prefer Daylight. I have issues with the film, with the supporting cast, giving Sylvester Stallone a hard time. I'm like, well, Slice Terry should just leave your sorry asses. But I really like Stallone. In that film, it just has more spectacle, more action, more special effects, more stuff going on. I know that may sound superficial, but to me, that was just much more of an exciting movie. I like the pacing of more. I like the score. I like the song at the end. Stallone, I think, gives a good performance. And the set pieces, the fan, and him getting through the fan in order to get to these survivors. The explosion that starts the whole crumble of the tunnel. All this, the bits with Stallone making the thing explode and running for cover so he doesn't get squashed. There's just many excellent set pieces that I would easily put that over this. The characters, I was indifferent to the characters because there's so many people involved. It was kind of hard to get to know all of them. It's like, okay, they're hanging around and they're partying, or they go to this wedding ceremony and they're partying, or they're fighting with each other, or they decide to go do this tug of war, or they're arguing about where to go for a vacation, then they ultimately go to here. As I can't tell you much of any of these characters. And for a 2 hour and 10 minute running time, I do think that's an issue. I do think that's a problem. Like, these characters are interchangeable. The only one I could think of is the guy who actually does the rescue, does the save on the guy that's fallen through. Just because he was brave enough to step forward. So that alone, I could give credit to that character. But the others, they were interchangeable to me. One guy with the other, like the other 8 people. Sometimes I forget, who's that guy? Oh, what was that guy? And what did he do before? There's just so many, I think it's too long of a film. At 2 hours and 10 minutes. I think the characters, they're interchangeable. They throw flashbacks of the guy stuck in there, him hiding when he was a kid. I really don't know what the purpose of that was. Because you think that would lead to maybe, okay, I gotta put my mind in a set where I got to, like I was in, when I was hiding, when I was a kid playing hide and seek, I gotta get in this mindset so I don't freak out, or I'll use that lesson I learned for my situation now. I didn't feel that way with this. And like, it's not a bad looking film. It's not a badly acted film. I always give credit to a story of, well, not always, so that's a lie. I could give credit to a story that's based on truth of survival and the courage that people had to save their friend. And so, yes, that would be a story worth telling. That's the least those people could get for showing that courage. But I'm just kind of watching and going, okay, get it going. Okay, who's that guy? Wait, who is that guy? What did that guy do? Okay, that guy is the brother of that guy. Okay, they're brothers. Or okay, was that guy there? Or okay. But again, if you're to ask me to name two, three things of any of these characters, I couldn't tell you. Could not tell you. And I'll butcher their names, so I can't pronounce their names. And it's about a guy falling in a hole, and they gotta get him out of the hole. Now, granted, that alone doesn't make it bad or anything. I mean, 127 hours is about a guy who falls to a hole and stuck there. But like that film, I was much more, for me, intensive experience, 127 hours. Because he's daydreaming, so he didn't know what this guy's life was and the mistakes he made, and him think about his dad or think about the life he wants to have, and every excruciating moment where the water's getting less and less and the heat's blaring down on him. You really, really feel for this character. And that's a bit where I felt the claustrophobia and the tension. Here, again, it's not, I keep repeating, it's not a badly made film. There's some nice looking shots where the camera's up high showing the pit as the more water's going in to show how dire the circumstances. Then once in a while, there were two iffy CGI moments. One is, well, the guy falls through, a bunch of CGI bats come out, waiting for Batman to show up. And the other was, it shows how the guy got down there and kind of pachinko. That didn't look too great. I think that's what it was. It's just I didn't care about the characters. I didn't give a shit. It's kind of, they like to hang out and they play some games, and there's not an actor I could go, oh, I like that person because I recognize him, because I remember him from this, and this movie. So even though this movie's not developing a lot of this character, that recognizability already gives me an edge. Like if I like the actor, then at least that gives an edge, even if there's not a lot of development. That's not the case for me in this. And like I said, it's not a bad film. It's just I didn't give a shit. I didn't. I think it was too long. I think the characters they're pretty much interchangeable. The police politics didn't do anything for me. Maybe because I don't know that culture. Maybe because I'm not from there, so I don't understand how it works there. Of like, why would they beat the shit out of these guys and already accuse them of murder? So, but then they do decide to help. I don't know. I don't even know what else to say because that's really all there is to the story. There's really not much else to tell about the story. So I'm sorry to Oliver. This wasn't for me. I'm also kind of iffy on reviewing films from India because it seems like if I ever give something, like, I'm not saying this is a bad film. I'm not saying I hate the film. But I'll still get people pissed and going, oh, well, how dare you even review I reviewing it because I'm requesting it. I was requested it, I should say. Can't even talk right. But the few times that, like, people get really pissy about it, if you don't give it like a 10 out of 10. But again, it's just there's so many characters to deal with, and I couldn't tell you much about any of them. And I did the event, just reminds me of films like 127 Hours and other stuff that I liked more. There's no, it's based on a true story, so it's, like, even that, like, Stories to Survival, Alive, I got a lot more out of. Because I felt like I got to know a bit more about those characters in that situation. And yet scenes like when the whole plane gets overcome with snow, like visceral moments of, the cannibalism stuff. Here, the act is courageous. It's just, see, I don't even know what else to say. I don't know what to talk about. We'll talk about the cinematography. Cinematography is good. I'll do that. Cinematography, I have no issues with. The way they make the caves look, and again, the way they make how the rain really seems like a dour situation where the rain is coming. Like this foreboding doom as you see the rain, the water is pouring to the pit. Thought the director did a nice job accomplishing that shot. The guy who's the rescuer, I didn't mind his acting when he's going through the pit. His exasperation and fear, but at the same time keep himself under control. But yeah, I just... I would never watch it again, and within a week I'll forget about this movie. So if people love the film, that's good. I'm glad for it. It's not going to me not loving the film. It was fine, but me not loving the film is not going to take away from the movie for you. I'm not talking about Oliver. He nice guy. I'm talking to people who randomly find this and get pissy about it. Just my opinion. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.